Hi, my name is Igor Slovak and I am CEO of ARATron TECHNOLOGIES company. I have a lot of emails from you how we make so nice and so amazing videos from our products. But this question is not for me because I'm not a video maker. Our video maker is this genius guy. This is the Roman Gregorichka from spygars.sk.
Escape, yeah. Hi.
Please show us how you make so amazing the videos with Graphic Poi.
In Graphic Poi, okay. Before you start shooting, you need to realize a few very important things.
First of all, you need to think about choosing your camera or camera equipment. Second is choosing the place or where do you want to shoot. Third is choosing the mood or atmosphere of your scene or video. Fourth is light setup or setting up your lighting. Fifth, setting up your camera. And sixth, proper clothes or proper clothing for your performer. Each one of those preparing stages of your video is important. If you want to have a good result, you have to think about the preparation of it. Now, let's have a look at choosing your camera. There are a lot of different types of cameras in the world. For example, some handycams, DSLRs, half professional, professional cameras, digital movie cameras, film cameras, and whatever. Let's talk about those types of cameras and which one is the right choice. Not the best one, but which one is the right choice for shooting poi. We were trying to find the answer for this question a long time. We were testing a lot of cameras like Red One, Red Epic, professional cameras like Sony FS700, and some handycams and DSLRs like Canon 5D Mark II, Mark III. Their results were very different, but not as good as we want. For example, the DSLRs. Most people like them, most people shot with them because they have changeable lenses, depth of field, and lots of great features. Mostly, it is true that they have very nice and clean picture, but in the post-production, it's not that simple. You need some depth of colors and lightness of the picture. The DSLRs have the photographic sensor and the video cameras have the video sensor. Photographic sensors are meant to take pictures and video sensors are meant to shoot motion pictures. If you put side by side some footage from DSLR and professional video camera, you will see the difference. But also we were testing digital movie camera like Red One, and the result with the light trace was not so good as we think. The picture was very clear and the post-production was nice and smooth, but the light trace effect that we wanted to achieve was not that good as we want to. So we started thinking if the expensive professional cameras are the way to solve this problem. And we figured out that the cheaper cameras have better results for shooting poi video than the expensive cameras. We started to test basic cameras, handycams, half professional, professional cameras, and the results were better. Because that's the one great because of the automatic shutter speed. The shutter speed is the answer for the problem with poi videos. You have to learn to set up your shutter speed, and if you understand it, you will understand the way of shooting the light trace of poi. But the main goal is that the cheaper cameras, the handycams, mostly have the automatic shutter speed, and that is why they can handle the light trace better, because they adapt. We will discuss this later in the chapter about camera setup. But the main goal is that if your camera cannot properly set up the shutter speed, it is not the right one for shooting poi video. So let's summarize. First thing you have to think about is that you need to get some video camera, not the DSLR. You need to have video sensor for this. Camcorder, handycam, half professional or professional camera of any kind. Second thing is the shutter speed option. Your video cam needs to have shutter speed setup. But we will talk about it deeply later. Now let's talk about the place where do you want to shoot. So the second chapter is choosing the right place. I just want to say that everything is up to you. I don't want to tell you where to shoot, what to shoot, or how to shoot. Everything is up to you. You have to know what do you want to achieve, what will be the result of your idea. Okay, choosing the place means that you need to choose if you want to shoot in exterior or interior. Those are two main options, but whatever you choose, you have to create some space around the performer. Because it is not very effective to shoot poi video in some small closet or bathroom or kitchen with a lot of glass and kids and dogs. You need to think about the space around the performer. He needs space, and also your equipment needs some space. You can choose of many types of places, very exotic places like a warehouse, and also a warehouse, and maybe some factories and studios, small photographic studios, bigger halls, and maybe some other photographic studios, and the green screens if you want to have Godzilla behind you when you're spinning and trying to kill Godzilla with poi. You can also go into the woods and perform in front of the trees, grass, and the sun, and chimneys. We are mainly shooting in studio, where we put our performer maybe 3, 4, 5 meters in front of the camera, and the background is placed also 4 or 5 meters behind the performer to creating the space around him. So you need to know the choreography because you need to properly frame the performer. If you frame your performer like this, you can lose some details of the performance. Maybe he's spinning up above his head, so you need to take some wider shot, but not too wide, because maybe you will shoot some of your equipment. So you need to find the best way to frame your performer. The studio is for us always the best choice because we do not have problems with bad weather or moving sunlight. Also, if you're using in studio some reflection floors, you have to be careful because you can also shoot some of your equipment in the reflection of the floor. Maybe some light above the performer. So be careful with the reflections. You need to think about the focus of the audience if you want to have the focus on performer, on the background, or only on the performance. That is why you have to choose between interior or exterior. If you want to focus on the performer or the performance, we prefer the dark background and dark floor. Dark environment is mostly the best to focus only on the performer. Now we can discuss about choosing the atmosphere or choosing the mood of the scene. Just as I said, it is up to you. If you want to have some dark mysterious atmosphere or emotion, you will choose some dark environment and play with shadows and silhouettes. Or if you want to have some positive feeling atmosphere, you can go into the woods with a lot of sunlight and shoot some animals. You can create the atmosphere with lights or props. Also, your location can make the atmosphere for you and also the choreography. Everything together is creating some mood. You need to know what do you want to achieve. If you are in studio, you can use some smoke machine or some fire. That's gonna hurt. Everything creates your result. Okay, we can move on. Setting up your light or lighting setup. There is also a lot of different types of lights. Theatrical lights, television lights, movie lights, on-camera lights, construction lights. If you cannot afford professional lights, you can use whatever you find at home. First, you need to decide if you want to see the performer or just the LED lights. When we are shooting in the studio, we are trying to separate the background from the foreground. We use some contralight, backlight from above the performer. Then we use some key lights from the front, maybe some soft lights like KinoFlow. And then we use some side lights to have nice silhouettes, and maybe from one side a little bit harder light. Also, you have to decide if you want to shoot on the white background or the black background, because the POI light is bright, and the best way to see the whole rendered image or colors is on the dark background. You can play with deflecting and blocking the light that you don't want to hit the camera sensor. You can use some black flags. For the further post-production, you need to think about the lighting of the performer's body. Later we will talk about the post-production of the light trace of POI. We will separate the POI light from the performer, and if you light his body so much, it will be so bright that when we try to separate only the POI light, then the body brightness will go with it. So be careful if you want to have clean light trace effect in post-production. You cannot lit up the performer's body that much. There's a lot of options how to set up your lighting. It depends on what do you want to see or what do you want to focus on. You can use only the front light to see all the performer, or you can use only the backlight or only the side lights for the silhouettes. Or maybe some interesting combinations for the best result for you. Okay, now we are getting to the main part of these preparations. Camera setup. Earlier I was talking about shutter speed. It is the answer for all the questions about shooting POI video. So, what is the shutter speed and how is it working? It is the exposure. If you have longer exposure, then you get more light to your picture and you will have longer light trace. Shutter speed is measured by time. 1/50th, 1/25th. I have for you a list of shutter speeds for comparing. The image under every number is the picture of POI that shows us the length of POI light trace. If you have, for example, shutter 1/25th, it is shutting the exposure 25 times per second. If the number is lower than the frames per second, the image will be very motion blurred and it will strobe. Shutter is shutting the exposure few times per second. The higher number means shorter exposure. So the lower number means longer exposure and longer light trace. When you set up your shutter speed on camera, you can play with aperture, the iris, to adapt the camera to your light conditions. With aperture, you can play with depth of field. For me, it's better to have larger depth of field because I want to capture all moves of performer properly. If you will set up the aperture very low, you will have a film-like picture with a shallow depth of field. It looks cool, but sometimes you're not able to capture all the important parts of choreography. Shallow depth of field is mainly used in video clips or some epic shots. So if you want to have film-like pictures, you can use longer lenses and close-ups with a shallow depth of field. The close-ups are really nice in slow motion, but slow motion is also a problem for shutter speed. If you're shooting more than 25 frames per second, the shutter will automatically set to that higher value, and you will lose the long light trace. So if you want to use slow motion, you have to understand that there will be no light trace effect. So the camera settings are not so difficult. First, you have to set up the frames per second to 25, or maybe if you're shooting NTSC signal, set it to 30 frames per second. Then set up the shutter speed to the lowest amount, and then play with the aperture for best light condition. And that's it. Now we're getting to the final chapter, which is the proper clothing for your performer. In the lighting setup, we were talking about lighting the performer and his clothes. This is very important because if you do not shoot the footage properly, you will have very hard times in post-production. So be careful with the lighting of the performer's clothes, especially when they're lightly colored, for example pure white. If the clothes are bright and the POI light makes them even brighter, The light trace effect in post-production will be very difficult, if not impossible to achieve. The clothes became a light source too, and that is the main problem. I am suggesting to use darker clothes. You can use light-colored clothes also, but then you cannot put so much light to them. Anyway, the clothing is really up to you. It connects also to the mood and atmosphere chapter, and with proper clothing you can create very nice feeling and emotion. Also, you can use pure black clothes with a black background and the audience will see only the poi light. But the main goal for this tutorial is to have proper clothing for post-production and the light trace effect. In this case, don't use any reflections on your clothes. It will make a real light mess and so much trouble in post-production. Now we came to post-production process. This is the real tricky part because now you will see the mistakes you did during the shooting. But don't worry, it happens all the time. Okay, this is the After Effects interface. First we have to import some footage here. I will open my Explorer. This is my footage. Click drag and drop into the project bin. Okay, we have our footage here, and now we have to create a composition for this footage. The easiest way is to click, drag and drop it into this small icon here. Okay, that's it. We have our composition from the footage. I will turn off the audio so we can focus only on the video. And this is the full-length video. For now I don't want to work with the full length, so I will cut it down a bit. And I'm working on Windows, so I can use shortcuts like B for input point and the N button for output point. Right click, trim comp to work area, and now we have our short clip ready to use. I will press the 0 button for the RAM preview because we want to see the whole performance in the real time. And this is very important for analyzing the shot. What corrections do you need to have this shot properly done? Okay, this is our real-time footage. We see a lot of colors. We see our performer in white clothes, dark background, and this was supposed to be a dark ground, but it didn't work out. And we have a light gray ground, so we have to get rid of it if we want to see only the performer. This is the red one footage, so it has a lot of dynamic range, and we can color correct it properly for our result. Okay, click the main footage and click Effects, Color Correction, and Levels. With levels you can correct the shadows, midtones, and highlights. And we clip down the shadows. You see now we have pitch black here, a little bit. Okay, and now I will restore some of the details in midtones and in the highlights. We still have the lighter ground, so we have to get rid of it. One way to get rid of these kind of problems is to use adjustment layers. So click Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. This is a special layer used with all kinds of filters and effects, and I will show you the usage of the adjustment layer. So we want to get rid of the ground. Click Effect, Color Correction, Levels. And the Levels effect will be applied in the adjustment layer. So we clip down the blacks, and now we see that it contrasts also the whole body and also with the poi. and we don't want it. We just want to correct the ground area, and we just adjust it like we want it to, restore some details into midtones, and that could be pretty much good. Okay, pretty much it. And to separate the ground area, we have to create a mask. This is the mask tool. We will use the rectangle tool, but you can use also a pen tool. You can create your own mask around the performer. But for now, sorry, I just delete that. For now, we just use rectangle. If you click and hold on this mask tool, you can choose from any kind of shape for your mask. We use the rectangle tool. Okay, drag the rectangle. And now there is one problem with this. As you can see, I will turn off the mask. As you can see, there is a hard edge from the mask, and we want to have a clean mask. So select your adjustment layer, hit MM, once more MM, and now you have the feather tool here, and you can feather it out. So the hard edge disappears. You see? And you can play with these adjustments for the best result for you. And this is good. Okay. And I think we're good now. This is what we want. And if we have some, those basic color corrections, we can now start with the light trace effect. I will name my layers. This will be the ground. Hit enter and type ground. And this is our main footage. Hit enter. Great. Okay. Now we have to duplicate this main footage. So select it, click edit, duplicate. Okay, and now we have to rename it. Hit enter and type echo. Echo is the name of the effect we are using to create the light trace. I will delete the levels. I don't need them now. And this is on the right side of the screen. This is the effects and presets list. Here you can find any kind of effect or preset you have installed. So type in the echo. Great, we have it. Drag and drop it into our echo layer. Okay, this looks kind of weird, but don't worry. We need to pre-compose this layer. So click. Be sure you have selected your echo layer. Click layer and pre-compose. Here you have to click on move all attributes and hit OK. Now you have your echo effect has its own composition. We will turn off the audio and double click and open the echo composition. This looks very weird, but for this we can work separately with the echo. So we turn it off and we use another effect, another filter called curves. So click effects, color correction and curves. Put curves above the echo effect. And now we can separate only the highlights from the whole image. So this is the RGB curve, and these are the highlights, midtones, and shadows. And we click and drag all the way down to clip down the shadows and midtones. And you see only highlight stays in the picture. We can clip all the way down, and we can look at the footage if there are you can see there are some there is some ghosting here. We don't want it, so we clip it all the way down, and only things that stays, it's our highlights from the POI light. Okay, that looks great. And this is the basic for the echo effect. You need to set up the curves to isolate the highlights. And now we turn on the echo effect, and as you can see, it duplicates some frames to create the light trace effect, to create the echo effect. You can control the number of echoes here. So we can click. I mainly use maybe 3 echoes, or maybe 4, but it's not that that nice. So we can use only 3. And now we have the light trace of the graphic POI. It looks very nice, and now we are ready to use it in our main composition. We go back. Now we have our layers: ground, echo, and main footage. The echo is on top of our main footage, and we don't see the main footage. It's just because here we have the black screen with the highlights. So we need to extract the highlights and have it on top of the main footage. We can do it with these settings. If you don't have this menu here, you can press F4. It will change these buttons, this menu, and here is the mode or screen mode, and you can click and use some of those 3 presets or screen modes. Add, lighten, or screen. Those are removing the blacks and working only with the light parts of the image. So we can use for now the screen mode, and voila, you can see we have our light trace on top of our main footage. You can also use an additive mode, but it will be more shiny when it overlaps the main footage. So I mainly use the screen mode, but it's all the same. It removes the black, and only the highlight stays in the frame. And that's it. That's the magic. That's the light trace effect, and you can play with all kinds of parameters, all kinds of options to enhance your result. But I think this is pretty much good. I'm not using any kind of special options or properties. This is the basic I mainly use for my results. So I think this looks fine. Okay, now I will show you a different situation when you put so much light on your performer, and the light trace effect became really impossible to create. So we import our footage. I will open my Explorer here. Here is my footage. Drag and drop. We create a new composition. Click, drag and drop. And we have our performance, and I will use maybe this part. Hit B and hit N. Okay, right click, trim comp to work area, hit 0 button. Okay, I will turn off the audio. Now, as you can see, we have a lot of also a lot of colors, and performer in white on the black background, so we can do the basic color corrections. levels, clip it down. Maybe we create the adjustment layer for the ground, hit the rectangle tool, the ground, effects, levels, and put it down. Okay, this may works, and hit feather it out. Okay, these are the basic color corrections, and now I will name it. This is the ground, and this is our main footage. I will duplicate it, edit, duplicate, rename it echo, and I will apply the echo effect, delete the levels, and now pre-compose this. Layer, pre-compose, move all attributes, okay, turn off the audio, double click, and turn off the echo. Now I will use the curves to separate the highlights and put it above the echo effect and clip it down, all the way down. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of ghosting. It is because his clothes are really bright, and these are the highlights from his clothes, and also it is because the camera has not that much dynamic range as the Red one. So this is the result when the footage is not properly shooted. So this is the result, and we can turn on the echo for you to see what is it doing really. Number of echoes 3, and use a screen mode. Okay, and now you can see this ghosting and those purple pixels, magenta pixels, and this is the main problem. This is the hard ghosting, and it's not nice to have on your professional footage. And mask it out frame by frame, or remove it any other way is really time consuming and hard, and it will cost you a lot of time. So please be careful when you're preparing your shot, because this could happen to you, and there is nothing you can do about it. Only have patience and remove it manually frame by frame.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much for seeing this. I hope you like it, and good luck with your core videos.